Welcome back to the Young versus the World series. We're going to start with doing some arena battles. We're planning on doing a few of the Young versus the World series. So we're going to do some arenas, some blitz, some crusades, and then we'll probably start looking at doing some more PvE stuff for guild raid events as well. So you can see here basically just going through looking at my options and then going with what looks to be the easier matchup. A lot of these battles are going to happen relatively quickly, so I would recommend, if you want to see the stats, go ahead and just pause, when you're on a specific spot if you're wanting to see a more in-depth breakdown. I win most of these battles. It's the primary objective as we're going. I'm using a fairly standard composition. I've got a few alternates that I can use as well. But what I'm really wanting to showcase is that I have now maxed my Trickster. And Trickster will be featured in an upcoming Heroes Magnified video, and I will be showing the video clip from when I maxed him out completely. As it turns out, he was a complete clutch hero. He's a 779 for me, so he's completely maxed out. And just watch this. This is insane. Okay? Because he's DPS and crowd control. Look at that. It's just wild seeing that kind of clutch win at the end. And that was, Scud's still alive, dealing a lot of DPS, but that was definitely Trickster coming in there for the win. And that's a perfect showcase as to the capabilities of that hero as a DPS hero. Obviously very late game. I believe this is Legendary 2 matches, maybe Legendary 1. I forgot to take a look. We'll have to check and see. So there's a pretty quick win against Jinjuru. Probably didn't say that correctly. So I'm using Leaf Blade. I do also have Gladiator as a tank option. For the most part, Leaf Blade tends to do a little bit better for me, just because the 3 seconds of invincibility, and that tends to be pretty substantial, especially at these higher tier battles. So Legendary 1 matches. Yeah, there's a 7-7 there. Much easier matchup. Another 7-7. And during Female Rogue Week, a 7-7 Kasume is just an impressive frontline tank. So a lot of people reference her as Tank Sumi, which is a fun kind of play on her taking on the tank role. She really only fits that role strongly during Female Rogue Weeks, like this week that we're showing here. With that said, she's a solid hero, not a bad investment choice regardless. So if you do want to invest into her, let's see, for this matchup I was debating trying to work a way to bring Atlantis in. I'd like to try and get him in there. The only hero that I really have that is a flex point there was Onyx. Of course, with her global attack buff, she does bring quite a bit to the table, but with all the fire coming in from that side, bringing in my 7/7/9 Atlantis, he's got massive AoE, and you saw he just wiped the back line with one of his 2-star attacks. Not even buffed, he, led for damage there in the right composition, which is of course going up against a Furiosa. Some strong ones there. And you can see power at these levels do not matter nearly as much as composition. Composition matters most. Out of these 3 options, this definitely looks like my best choice. Yeah, that the 7/7 Onyx is definitely a threat during female weeks, more so than anything. And yeah, there you can see there's the Tank Sumi with the strong 7/7 Onyx backing up. Lots of AoE splash damage there, resulting in a loss. Strong 7/7 there. Fairly easy looking, fairly unbuffed team for this week from Firecorn, so hopping in there with that. Pulling off a pretty solid win. Now, the spread in terms of DPS for my team is going to be fairly stagnant regardless of which week I'm in. Misty, Thorn, almost always high DPS for me. And then, depending on the team composition, you'll see Scud, Spark sometimes. Now, with this new addition of Trickster to my lineup, I'll be seeing some more of the Trickster high DPS. He's just a really fun hero. I'm really looking forward to doing that Heroes Magnified video where we're going to show him off in more detail. So, the footage for this Young vs. the World video was recorded during our guild quest for Arena, so I went ahead and did my max on that. Yeah, that one was a loss, but that was relatively close. A strong Sorrow in the back. I mean, Sorrow always brings a lot of DPS. So, dang, look at that. Completely maxed out. Yeah, it's just some crazy heroes. Look at that. Alright. Original Too Tall. Original Too Tall always has very strong teams. Has really nice compositions to go up against each week. Yeah, and there's some good footage for that. And here again is Trickster with the clutch win. These kinds of wins were not things that I was seeing at all really prior to maxing Trickster. So he definitely brings a lot to the table as far as that goes. Leaving Atlantis in there for that big AoE splash damage. He's not really getting to showcase that much. Like, you get to see it a little bit, but it's not as drastic, especially on weeks where he's not buffed. Male or Lancer weeks, and he's a must-have in the team lineup on account of that. I'm also running Namada. She's debuffing enemy water heroes, which isn't really all that important, but she is able to help mitigate some of the backline threats and slow down some of the backline DPS on the enemy side, which is the main reason why I was wanting to run her, and I've been running her more frequently. I am planning on maxing her out relatively soon. If not the next time that she comes, it'll be the time after that. I've been saving up my flus very specifically to get her maxed out. She's a 669 currently, and I'm not displeased with her current performance. I think she's doing a great job at fitting the role that she is currently. But she'll definitely be more of a threat to backline once she is maxed out at 779. I anticipate her taking out enemy Namadas, enemy Vlads, a body blocking Cersei, which would then mitigate that threat. She's probably not going to be able to take out the bulkier gunners like Scud, Misty. She might, completely maxed out, she might do okay against like Frost Queens because they're a little bit squishier. even with Scud's elemental disadvantage, generally speaking, I wouldn't expect her to take him out. But that's just because Scuds, for whatever reason, always seem to end up with a lot of HP just from secondaries. And there's another clutch win from Trickster. Not quite as clutch as that first one that we saw, but definitely brought a lot to the table there. Gromdog always has very strong teams, one of my favorite players to go up against. I'd probably say one of the players closest to me in terms of arena PvP strength. So here's a loss from Gromdog this week, but that does vary week to week depending on which heroes are buffed and if I'm tailoring a team specifically to counter what I'm seeing. That team looks pretty straightforward. And this is Vincent. I would anticipate a win here. Yeah, no, I guess not. Dang, look at that. And my player level is 73, I think, now. So my crystal health is higher on account of that. We've already seen me defeat the original Tutalt. There is a 7/7 Sir Shu, which would be great to see. I'm just going to swap out Atlantis there, change my mind. A level 9 weapon Kasai, which didn't do a whole lot, and now being targeted is the Sir Shu. That's a pretty fun matchup. And I got 3 battles left in me here. Dang, look at that. That is a, 7/7/9. Shelly, that's a bit much for me. Shelly will probably be the next tank that I max out, but I do anticipate getting Namada completely max 7/7/9 prior to doing that. And then Shelly will be my third primary tank. Yeah, team looks simple enough. Simple does not mean easy, so don't translate what I'm saying to mean easy, but a straightforward matchup is generally a little bit safer to do, especially at these higher level endgame arena battles. Alright, and this will be the last one. Strong 7/7/9 Tesla there. Tank Sumi. Still a Tank Sumi, so yeah, without the Tesla backing it, this would definitely be the better option. You can see the rockets hitting the backline heroes, slowing down DPS from the enemy team. My Namada even got possessed there, and it didn't detrimentally affect anything. Alright, nice clean win to finish off this episode of Young vs. the World. I do appreciate you guys watching. If you guys would like to support this channel, there's a lot of ways you can do that. Likes, subscribing, those are all great ways to show your support. Or you can show your support through a financial contribution through the Patreon page, which is linked below. As always, Medivh did do the thumbnail for today's video, so if you see him on the official Discord, be sure to give a shout out to him for that. In the meantime, thanks for watching.